That is not what I sounded like when I was on cocaine, but I sounded a lot like Cynthia. Give it up for Cynthia, everybody. She did close out my show yesterday because she does have a lot of issues, okay? And I do run a recovery show, and we do have your classics, your addictions, your alcoholism, you know, the crisp white shirt of mental health problems. Those are the classics. Then you get into your general behavioral disorders, and that's where Cynthia comes in. So, I myself don't drink, so feel free to have mine. It was a lot. Sometimes people will meet me, though, after a show, and they'll say, I bet you were fun when you were drinking, and I get it, because I can hold it together and seem fun for about 10 to 12 minutes. And I'm like, yeah, I guess I was fun. I don't know. How do you feel about sobbing? Is that a good time for you, or do you enjoy vandalism? Do you like getting your shoes pissed on? Because if so, that was a good time, you know. I can piss on other people's shoes, not just my own. One time I threw up on my best friend's back. There's some logistics in there. We were in a car, which really helped, you know, like a crowded car. She sat on my lap. It was her fault for being short. So, yeah, I threw up on her back. Plan on sharing that memory. I just recovered it, so it's going great. I am not from Chicago. I'm originally from Ohio. Yeah, that's right. I've been here a long time. I feel like a Chicagoan, and I just recently started. I just bought my first car in 2021 to be able to travel the road doing comedy. And I can say, having driven now for a few years around the roads of Chicago, that when I drive on a smooth road, I usually almost always have an accident. People think that, you know, I let them know when I go out of town, people think that people die here from gun violence, and it is underreported in the media how many people die from potholes, okay? Yeah, I don't know how to drive safely on a road that doesn't feel like my uterus is gonna pop out. Of course, the potholes have guns, too, so there's that, but I spend a lot of time on the North Shore. I spend a lot of time right over the border in Evanston. Hopefully I'll be able to continue to move there. I just want to say, somebody asked me how my summer was going, and I was like, shut the fuck up. I am not in the 6th grade anymore. I mean, what a dumb question to ask an adult from another adult. If there was another 6th grader going, how's your summer going? I could see it, okay? Oh, I'm trying to wean myself off paste eating, you know? You know, that doesn't apply anymore. You know, what am I supposed to say? It's such beautiful weather we're having. You can really see your neighbors get hauled away, you know, so. Sorry, too much. I know, right? But, you know, so anyway, they're not going to talk to me anymore. But I do spend a lot of time. My best friend lives in, she's right there. That's one of my best friends, Stephanie. Yes. You can talk to her after the show if this doesn't go well. She'll give you a backstory. She lives in Evanston, and I've had several friends move to the suburbs, and it's like, I've lost people now that I'm the age that I am to the suburbs the way I used to lose friends to drug overdoses, okay? Once they go to the suburbs, I'm like, it was nice knowing you. I'll never see them again. Actually, I'm at the age now where I lose as many friends. I don't lose them to drug overdoses now. I lose them to drug interactions. So it's just a different. I'm Generation X, you guys. Who's Gen X in here? Yeah. I got misgenerationed recently, okay? Somebody called me a boomer, all right? And no offense, Julie, no offense, but I'm not a boomer. I told them I'm not a boomer, I'm Generation X. I don't piss my pants because of age, it's because of alcoholism, all right? But at this point, it might be a little bit of both. So, but I like being Generation X because I think out of millennials, Gen Z, boomer, Gen X sounds the coolest. You know, like a superhero. I'm Gen X. When really Gen X sounds like something that my doctor would prescribe me for bone density issues. Getting a dowager's hump? Try Gen X. Then I grab a bottle and I wrestle with the top. And I take a couple out and I pop them. And the next thing you know, I'm in a mosh pit with a pickleball racket. I'm at the age now where it feels like my parents we've been talking about their end of life plans, and it was a lot more boring than I had fantasized when I was a teenager. God, I thought about this moment for so many years. I thought it would be so much more exciting, and I want to kill myself. It's so boring. So anyway, they were telling me, what they wanted, and then my mother said, we want to leave you the house. And I was like, wow, oh my God, thank you so much. And also, I'm an only child, so I don't know why you said it that way. The dog has been dead for 4 years. And I was pretty sure I was the next in line as a favorite, okay? But maybe they're getting a cat. Who knows? My mom feeds a lot of stray animals in the neighborhood. And I told her, too, I'm like, at this point I feel like my parents and I are kind of the same age, And I said to my mom, I go, well, all right, you want to give me the house. Are you talking like in the next couple of weeks or months? Because the way you two are ticking along, by the time I get the house, I'm not going to want to take the stairs either, And then my mother, sadly, she's still with us. Just talked to her today. Told her I was coming here. She's, I love her despite my act. And then my dad I don't see as much, my biological father. My mother and I share alcoholism. Isn't that nice? Okay, this is weird. I mean, it was weird to find that out. Okay. Yes. I don't drink anymore, and neither does she. And that's good, because when I drink, I don't turn into a cougar, I turn into a booger. Something slimy that you can't get off your hand, you can't. And my mother hates that joke, but that's because she's a booger. So, the booger doesn't fall far from the nose, all right? Now, my father is not an alcoholic. He's what they call a codependent. And that means he's never going to see my comedy show unless I hold it up the ass of my stepmom, okay? Because that's where he spends all his time. Right? And I don't mean in the fun way. So, there's that. I don't know if you know, like, codependent. It's not as hot, I mean, there was, like, the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial, if you guys followed that at all. That's a good example of an enmeshed codependent relationship, okay? And my favorite part of that was the fact that Amber Heard got so mad at Johnny Depp She shit on his pillow, okay? She took a shit on she tried to blame it on the dog, but it was her, okay? She did, I know, and all I thought was, God, to have a love that great. If only I could have a muse to inspire that. But then I thought about it, and the reality is, with the type of men that I have dated, I don't know that I would, let's just say, if I shit on the pillow, I would be the one that owns the sheets, okay? I date a lot of men who just can't get it together to have sheets, all right? And I'm not gonna, I believe in self-love, but I don't want to shit on my own sheets, okay? So, I mean, I'm in therapy now, so hopefully I will at least upgrade to dating a man with sheets so that I can shit on them to let them know I care. Okay. I'm not married, in case that wasn't clear. I have never been married, but I get told I seem divorced. Who's looking to the future now? I'm happy, but I would be open to being married. You know, sometimes I think I would like to be married before I die. And if it happens after, I'm open. Now, I am a full-time comic, so I quit my day job in 2023 to pursue my dream of, thank you for that whistle. That is the sound of the wind whistling through my bank account. Which is a much better punchline to that joke than what I usually say, which is to quit my job to pursue my dream of starving to death. Okay, two ways to say the same thing, but I mean, I may not end up being a successful comic, but I will reach goal weight, right? Yes, thank you. So the job that I quit, I worked in an office. I was an administrative assistant in a treatment facility, though. So I got to do paperwork and check in urine samples. So if you thought Excel was fun on its own, why don't you pack up some piss after you're done with all the spreadsheets, okay? I will say, though, the one time this guy was going to the restroom, and I handed him the little cup, and he was going to the bathroom, right, to take his test, and I was like, the bathroom's right out there, and he opens the door, and then he turns around, and he goes, "Number 1, right?" God bless him for asking, you know? It was not a big cup, you know? Speaking of which, I did Cologuard. Did anybody ever do that? Where you send in your colonoscopy sample, you shit in a box like a cat, and then you mail it, and you send it UPS, and I'm like, talk about getting down with Brown. All right. Anyway. So I quit that job, right? But right before I was quitting that office job, one of the people that worked there was getting ready to get married. And so, as you do in the workplace, if you like your coworkers and they have some kind of milestone, the birth of a child, whatever, you celebrate it. You're happy for them. So my friend Amanda was 30, she's getting married. And everybody was in on planning the wedding. You know, her plans. What is it going to be? Destination? What's the, cake going to be like? What's your dress? What are you thinking? Is there drama with the guest book? We were there for it. And people were sharing their wedding stories, either the weddings that they were going to have or the weddings that they'd had. Now, she knew that I hadn't been married before, but she included me. And she said, Laura, what kind of wedding would you like to have? And I said, well, Amanda, thank you so much for including me and patronizing me. I think that we can agree that at the rate that I'm going, whatever the home will throw is what we can expect, right? So now I don't want anybody to feel bad for me because I've thought about this, and I don't know if any of you have a loved one in an assisted living facility, but those places would be great for a wedding, okay? First of all, the bathrooms in the rooms themselves are huge, okay? Now, I could have my whole bridal shower in there. All the ladies would fit in there with their walkers and their wheelchairs and their oxygen tanks. And nobody would get a tube rolled over. Nobody would miss a breath at my bridal shower, which admittedly would be more of a bridal sponge bath. And I figure I could just sit there and, open my gifts on my potty chair, which we would adorn with flowers, and we're going to throw a little in the chin whiskers while we're at it. I will tell you that I have a will started. And the only thing in there is that I want to be plucked until they close the lid or turn on the flame, depending on how I'm disposed of. That's the only thing I want to go tweezed, okay? That's it. All right, anyway, just in case I die tonight, I want to put that out there. Just look over the corpse and hit me before the... All right, anyway. So then, after that, they will wheel my groom and I into the day room, which they will have decorated with that random box of decorations that they keep under the bingo table. So it'll be nice. It'll be a little bit of Hanukkah, a little bit of St. Patrick's Day, a little Easter, Halloween. With the cataracts, how much color will I see? It doesn't matter, And then finally, they will bring out a low glycemic cake, okay? So that my groom and I can keep as many toes as possible as we step into our future together, or the light, whichever comes first. And then they'll cut a few slices of cake, and my nurse will push a little bit of cake into his mouth, and his nurse will push my teeth back in. Okay, it'll be beautiful. All right, well, that was the punchline. Sometimes I get to laugh, but you guys are moving in a different direction. Okay, I've heard it. That's all right. I'm here for it. What do I have to be? Okay, so I got the light, and I'm going to just close with this. So the last time I went home, I went to visit my parents, so they could tell me about how they want to be disposed of. And they didn't put it like that. But I decided to go to an open mic while I was there because I had a show while I was there and I wanted to practice my set. So I went to this open mic, and comedy is largely, you won't know it by the show tonight, but largely a young person's game, okay? So I walk into this open mic, and everybody there was less than half my age, okay? And I'm used to it. It doesn't bother me. I don't mind. But as I'm waiting, in this bar in my hometown at this open mic, and all these younger comics are going up, I suddenly realized, I'm like, I bet I fucked some of your parents. How often do you get to say that at work, huh? I was like, hey, what'd you say your last name was again? Let me see that sign-up sheet. Hey, you tell your dad I said hi. Oh, hey, and your mom. All right, that's it for me. Oh, yes.